Hey chaps, just going to do a quick walk around and go through of the model. This is Isaac asked me to do a little walk around and just explain what I've done to the model. It is it's a DYNAM Mark I Hurricane, which I completely converted out of the box. The colour scheme is Tamiya Flat Earth. I couldn't tell you the XF code, I can't remember it. Over Tamiya Wooden Deck Tan, and the underside of the model is Tamiya Light Blue. I've still got the stock retracts. I've painted the wheel wells aluminium as I believe they were, and also the inner gear doors, oh sorry, the inside of the gear doors are painted in aluminium. Struts painted in Revel steel. It does need another set of scale wheels, which I'm working on, guys. Of course, I took the stock radiator and basically added a little tiny servo inside it, just with a tiny little control rod. That is on a servo slow, just to operate with the undercarriage. Now, I also bored out the front of the radiator, just to give it a slightly deeper scale effect. The Volks filter, because I've modelled the Hurricane on a tropical one, is off of a Durafly Mark V tropical Spitfire. The exhaust stacks, exhaust stubs, were kindly given to me. Shout out to TL Mark. Cheers TL Mark. These are some plastic printed ones that he gave me for the build. And also the build wouldn't have been possible without the cannons that also TL Mark gave me, and they were from his Wind Rider Hurricane. They are actually really nice. They're really scale. So anyone that's got the DYNAM Hurricane, the Wind Rider Hurricane's 1200mm, and it comes with the cannons. So I mean, if you can get the cannons as a spare part, they're on a sprue, you know, it's possible. I've actually drilled out the centres of all of them. I didn't do too bad a job on that. I had to go up in 5 stages of drill bits, starting from the centre, as not to split them and to keep them dead centre. I've peeled off the plastic covers, trimmed them up, because obviously usual DYNAM just whacked it together. When I built the model, it looked like a Friday afternoon model where they couldn't wait to get home and just sort of put it through quality control. I've just painted the inside silver, just to give it a little bit more of a depth scale effect. Not going to be using the lights anyway. The wingtip lights again, pulled the covers off, and I've just literally painted the back in there in flat green, just to give it the tip light effect, and the same with the other wing. I haven't bothered raking the gear or anything like that. It doesn't seem to need it. It's the stock DYNAM Hurricane spinner with a stock 3-blade 13x7. I've modelled it with the canopy open, only for the sheer fact that I've got a quite a large scale model kit indoors of one, which I did in exactly the same scheme as this, which I just enlarged the model basically, and I wanted to go from the other one. Just other little scale effects that make a little bit of a difference. Again, TL Mark gave me the idea of the handles. Obviously you've got the outer handle there to open and shut, and the inner handle for the pilot. It did have a little mirror on top of it, but me with my clumsy hands, I've knocked that off already. It is indoors, ready to go. Pilot's had a little bit more of a facelift. He was very pale, as somebody else pointed out. He's now been painted in flat flesh, and he's so obviously I've built up the skin tone with flickers of red and brown and a little bit of blue, and just to get the effect. Goggles need painting still. Also, his life jacket, I noticed, wasn't yellow, so of course it had to be painted yellow. Just gives it more of a an RAF pilot effect. He don't look too scared. He should be with my flying. So I use the stock DYNAM decals. I've just got to get a fin flash, because the fin flash that comes with it's only half a fin flash, because the front of the fin's painted red to replicate the model that DYNAM based it on. So I'll be getting some fin flash and also squadron codes. As I said in another one of the videos, it will be in a Greek squadron. So I'm looking at putting it as BP188. BP188 finished life, I believe. It was converted to a 2D with the tank busting 40mm Vickers guns underneath the wings. I am in the process also of making an instrument panel, which is going to go in there. I've cut the cockpit out a little bit more. You can't see it really. I've cut it a little bit deeper. I need to change the aerial. I've just literally put the aerial mast on there for the time being, but I don't want to get more scale one. Now going inside, a bit of a bird's nest. It's quite hard to compact it all in there. I'm running the model on an AR610. I've got a 2200 30C4S up front, an overlander pack, and I can just about see up there I've got some lead strapped to the top of it. Now on putting lead in this model, I found that the best way to do it, swing her over, is underneath the nose there's a little drill panel, obviously to let the air flow. Obviously I've covered that partially, but the actual Volks filter is hollow, so basically all it's doing now, rather than just the air skimming across and going through, it's now actually ramming it in there through the Volks filter. But that little panel there, I pulled that off, which was nice and easy. It's only on the DYNAM sticky tacky glue. I pulled it off and it leaves a nice little gap in there, which I used to put some weight in there across there. So that's where I've got the main bulk of my lead, and it's pretty far towards the nose, so obviously you don't have to use as much lead as what you would if you had to sort of put it on the battery. I've weathered it up. All I used to weather it up was some pastels, and I just literally used a little file, sanded them up. It's a mixture of a very dark brown, a little bit of yellow, and a tiny touch of black. And all I did with the dust in the bottle, just mixed the dust around the bottle and used quite a stiff, short, stubby brush, and just literally just picked up as much dust as I could on the tip of the brush, and just basically rub it into the panel lines. And then to finish it off, just to give a weathered effect around the edge of the panels, is just to use the tip of your finger with a tiny little bit on there and smudge it along. Now, being that it's pastels, you can sort of wipe off any excess with a bit of damp if you want to. The model does need a quick coat of flat, of dull flat, just to cover everything and to seal everything in. Again, the gunpowder stains, just literally, that was more of a black mix of pastels, and just literally on the tip of the finger, and just run down in a straight line and just fade it in and smear it in. That's the best I could do with that. Unfortunately my airbrush is not working at the moment because I've lost several parts to it. But there you go, that's me overview of the Hurricane. I found with this as well, I haven't yet encountered the dodgy DYNAM splatter, where you increase the throttle and it goes hoop, 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 and it sort of splutter is the best word for it. Now, anyone that's having this issue with any DYNAM models, you can go onto YouTube and just type in there DYNAM llC reset, or reset to default. The videos by llC, and again our good friend Pilot Ryan does his very best to explain step by step. I have followed his guide, and it has worked on sort of another 6 or 7 models, so you know, well done llC and Ryan for putting that, and I think that's helped a lot of us out. So there you go guys, that's the Hurricane build, walk around, an overview. Anybody that wants to do this mod, it makes the Hurricane look really aggressive. It is my favourite mark of Hurricane, is the Mark IIc. So yeah, hope you like the model. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. Thanks guys.